host, Eric Mitchell, and we have a good one for you today. We are doing part 2 of our mission to share exactly what is going on with the COVID-19 vaccine. As we're seeing on the news, it's not a priority to a lot of news outlets, but we want to continue doing it. We want to make sure that you guys see and understand everything that's going on and understand yesterday or our previous episode. You can go back and check it out. We had the vaccine supply chain. Today we're going to talk about the human side of that, the physical materials, and more on humans. So let me give you a quote from The Economist. It says, "Deliverance, when it arrives, will come in a small glass vial. First, there will be a cool sensation on the upper arm as an alcohol wipe is rubbed across the skin. Then there will be a sharp prick from a needle. 21 days later, the same again. As the nurse drops the used syringe into the bin with a clatter, it'll be hard not to wonder how something so small can solve a problem so large." So, people are talking about lining up for this vaccine like they're lining up for Black Friday sales in 2019. But that's not the way it is. Reality check, folks. There won't be enough COVID-19 vaccines for everyone, probably for years. Let's be real. We talked about it in the episode before of what it would really take to get all 7.8 billion people on the planet a vaccine. We just don't have it. Now, we're lucky the CDC has put together some amazing lines for distribution, so it won't look like we're going to have the Hunger Games when it comes to getting this wonderful vaccine that people are talking about. So here's how it's going to be played out. Once the vaccine gets approved by the FDA, the CDC's Advisory Council Committee on Immunization Practices will hold an emergency meeting. And that's going to be within about 48 hours of it getting it there, and it'll take within about 48 hours to finalize who gets the first shot. So they're talking about the first responders getting it. So the question you're asking is, who gets it first? The easy answer to that is the 20 million plus healthcare workers here in the United States, including doctors, nurses, and support staff, will be the top priority. 3 other groups are widely considered to be especially vulnerable to the coronavirus. They also will be included in this list. So we're talking about the elderly. So that's about 50 million Americans age 65 or older. So we all probably have loved ones, including our parents or grandparents, in that age bracket. People with underlying conditions. That breaks down to about 80 to 100 million Americans, which is a crazy number, and we've lost some amazing people in their 30s and 40s to this disease. This virus doesn't know age groups, but we do know people with that. And obviously essential workers, law enforcement, firefighters, anybody in that bracket, the essential folks, that breaks down to about 40 to 60 million Americans. So you see there's a lot going around. That's a lot of millions, as we could say, and definitely more people than vaccine that we're going to have at first. So we have to make sure the people are priority. Now, some healthcare experts are on the record, have also argued for early vaccinations for racial and ethnic minorities who've experienced higher rates of corona infection and death. We've heard that on there. Now, what about kids? A lot of people are asking, what about kids? Pharmaceuticals are, and for good reason, not tested on kids first. Smart. And it'll probably take longer to get a vaccine that is safe for children. Only, and it's like Pfizer have started tests on pediatric testing on children. There we go. So they started testing that for the youth. So there's some other factors to consider when we're talking about who gets this, right? There's a lot here. There's a lot to unpack. So there are different vaccines have different logistical challenges and health considerations, which vaccines are better suited for the elderly and people with heart conditions, or say pregnant women. And single vaccines and ones that don't require ultra cold storage, like we learned about in our previous segment, these ones that require negative 94 degrees, colder than Antarctica, which can, reach rural communities more easily. So you got to remember each one has it. So you've got the one that requires negative 94. We've also got the one that's negative 4. We also know that the biggest challenge we have and the bottleneck is when we're flying it over here And all these companies, UPS, FedEx, all this, putting together these storage boxes with dry ice. And we know that unfortunately, some of what the spoilage rate is between 5 to 20%. It's just gonna happen, folks. We don't control it. The good part is we're putting this out in the winter. Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll have a really big Arctic blast because 2020 has a sense of humor. So we have to do that. So, and two, one of the big factors to consider, question a lot of people are asking, is the goal to limit the spread or control deaths. And just so you know, before the swine flu pandemic, the strategy was to vaccinate the most vulnerable first. But in 2009, researchers actually published a study that suggested a focus on vaccinating the biggest spreaders. Donald Trump. I don't know, that just comes out when I think of biggest spreaders. Donald Trump in the White House. The biggest spreaders in the case of the swine flu, children ages 5 to 19 to protect everyone else. It's interesting. And it helped. And now the CDC guideline advises annual flu shots for kids 6 months and older. So it's going to be interesting the way that they plan this out because we want to control spreading. Obviously, it's not working because the White House is still a hot spot. Those people are popping positive all the time. I swear to God, it's crazy there. It's just a madhouse. That place is a hot spot. And just understand, not everyone will get a vaccine. And this is an interesting study that we were able to pull. In the last decade, the U.S. has never vaccinated more than half of the adults for the flu. True story. And the vaccination for Black, Latino, and high-risk adults even trend lower. So, it's interesting that we're dealing with this. Now, some people are asking, once we have the vaccine, will we share it? We're talking about geopolitics and countries being able to afford it. And, if you sat around and you thought that the state bidding wars on these ventilators, we have more than anybody else. The ventilators were ruthless. Wait until you learn about the global competition for the coronavirus vaccines. Here's an interesting study. The Duke Global Health Institute estimates 9.6 billion doses are already reserved for individual countries, without any vaccines even reaching the market yet. And who are the early leaders? Of course, the wealthier countries, the rich countries. The US, UK, EU, Canada, Japan have secured 1.1 billion shots of Pfizer's vaccine, roughly 85% of the planned production through 2021. Now, Moderna's first 20 million doses will head to the US, which has a contract for 100 million. Now, governments were hedging bets by investing in multiple vaccine candidates, and we've seen that. They're all over the place. We've had 4 come out in the last 4 weeks, but some have stuck enough deals that multiple vaccines can regularly get approval, then they could control a big chunk of the supply. For instance, here's another for instance, Canada could end up with enough doses to vaccinate its population 5 times over, which just says that there's not a bit of that, and that does come across a bit lopsided, but that's where COVAX comes in. This is a WHO-led initiative, is working to ensure equitable vaccines across the country because there obviously are third world countries that they're not going to be able to afford this. They can barely afford to pave the roads, and of course they have to buy weapons, so vaccines, dictatorships don't like to do that. So this is how that would work, this WHO initiative and how it would work. There are 184 countries participating, with wealthier countries subsidizing vaccines across 92 lower to middle income ones. See, everybody's playing together here in the same pool, particularly across Africa and Southeast Asia. So Africa and South Africa and Southeast Asia. The goal is to raise $5 billion and provide 2 million doses by the end of 2021. So far, COVAX has reached 700 million doses and $2 billion in funding. Now, of course, because who our president is until January 20th at 12 p.m. Eastern, the U.S. is not currently participating. Now, President-elect Joe Biden also hasn't said whether his administration will join. Now, pharma companies like AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, Novavax, Sanofi plan to produce 3 billion doses for developing countries, and some through the COVAX problem. The Duke Health Institute, there's a lot of words on this stuff, thinks it'll take until about 2024 to vaccinate the entire population of the world. 7.8 billion people is a lot of people. I know it sounds like a small number when people get that as money for their companies, but it's a lot of people to vaccinate all over the planet. Think how big our planet is. In that time, the vaccines could be a new front in geopolitics, which is crazy. So that's what we have. So they did do an interesting Gallup poll this month in November as we now move into December. And they asked the question of who will get the shot. We talked about this. In the Gallup poll in November, 42% of U.S. adults said they would not get an FDA-approved coronavirus vaccine. That's down from a peak of 50% in September, but remains a very concerning government to public and health officials as they want to try to get COVID-19 under control. Yes, it could be a problem. There are several reasons why people believe that the American public's confidence is down, which is, there's a lot of things that could cause this, but, public confidence is down. We can't even get our election right, and so you want us to take a vaccine? How about they go try it first? But here are some of the reasons. So 37% of the respondents who said they wouldn't get vaccinated are worried about the rush timeline. I would say I'm one of those people. 26% want to wait until they confirm it's safe. I believe my wife is one of those people. And 12%, they don't trust vaccines generally. The anti-vaxxers, those folks, the anti-vaxxers who also happen to probably be anti-maskers. That's how that works. And that's despite 9 pharmaceutical companies, including frontrunners Moderna and Pfizer, pledging to hold their products to the highest, their words, highest ethical standards and sound scientific principles. It sounds good. Also, one of my heroes, and I think an American hero, and if he's not named Times Man of the Year, we got a lot of issue. We know Michael B. Jordan was the sexiest man alive, but this man could come in a close second. And no, we're not talking about sexy, but his brain is pretty sexy. Dr. Fauci has already tried reassuring the public that the process did not compromise any of the safety nor scientific integrity. At the very end of COVID-19's vaccines supply chain are the injectees. And the WHO estimates 60% to 80% of them need to be immune for a population to hit herd immunity. Establishing this public trust in these vaccines will be the next major challenge for our health officials. There's a lot of questions out there on who and what and when you should get it. I'd love to hear in the comments, do you plan on getting vaccinated right away? What's your thoughts on the vaccination? And has this information been helpful to you? This is what we want to do. Tomorrow we will be back. In our next episode, we will be talking about this election process and actually what it brings as we're getting closer to the date for the Electoral College as the states start declaring the winners and certifying elections. All of that is passing, but we want to break down some of the key ingredients to the election. So hopefully you're enjoying these breakdowns in these series. We enjoy giving them to you. As always, make sure you smash that subscribe button and share with your friends. And make sure you follow us on social media. That's Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, of course, YouTube. We'd love to see you share our stuff in our content. Make sure you share it with a friend and always leave a comment when I hear about your vaccination. As always, I am Eric Mitchell, and on behalf of our entire team here at To The Point, we wish you thank you for watching and make sure you tune back in. As always, I'm Eric Mitchell. Be safe, be strong, be smart, and God bless America.